recent quote by Chris Paul about Shai Gilgious Alexander kind of piqued my interest as a Canadian basketball fan during the FIBA World Cup, but also as an NBA fan kind of assessing exactly what he said. And Chris Paul was wrong about this, but let's find out what the right answer is. Chris Paul said that Shai Gilgious Alexander's development is the most impressive he's ever seen in the NBA. So I wanted to discuss the biggest and most successful development stories in recent NBA history. So most improved, not just like most improved season, most improved where they started their career and what they became. And I'm not talking about like, high lottery picks, like first, second, third overall picks who maybe struggled out the gate and then turned it around and had great careers. Not talking about that. Like, what are the greatest success stories in NBA history? And even without bias in any way whatsoever, you have to acknowledge the unbelievable rise of Pascal Siakam. At this present day, I think he's still underrated a little bit in the NBA universe, in the NBA media universe, because this guy's a baller. Efficient isolation machine, okay outside game, but isolation scoring machine. Amazing playmaker, amazing rebounder, can play as a small ball 5, can play as a 4, can play as a 3, can run the offense when Raptors have issues in the point guard department with injuries and personnel. He can run the offense. He started a freaking game last season as the point guard. And all of this, 2 All-Star appearances, 2 All-NBA appearances, and an MIP award, no less. An NBA championship where he was the second option on that team, where he and Kawhi tied for the second most points by a duo in a playoff run in NBA history, only trailing LeBron and Wade, tied with Jordan and Pippen. Siakam has contributed so much to so much insane success on an NBA level. And all this coming from a person who entered the league as a 27th overall pick, who was perceived to have been picked as a little bit of a reach. The Raptors did a little bit of a reach to get him. The Raptors passed on Skal Labissiere, who went 28th overall, and people were up in arms about the fact the Raptors passed on this guy. And he entered the league in 2016-17. I have it up here. 55 games, 38 starts, 4 points a game. 4 points a game. Like 15 minutes a game, 4 points a game. Second season, 81 games played, 5 starts, bench mob era. Bench mob peak era. 7.3 points per game. That was his second season. Third season, he makes the unbelievable jump to 16.9 points per game. MIP season, championship season. Next year, first All-Star appearance. All-NBA second team. But this guy went from a rim-running energy guy to an isolation assassin, scoring on all 3 levels. Just so many ways he can score beyond just the spin now. Good defender, still a great energy guy, can run the offense, upped his game to 5.8 assists per game, 8 rebounds. Like, this guy just produced a 24, 8-6 season on 48% shooting from the field, 32% from 3. And this from a guy who was a rim-running energy guy for the first 2 full seasons of his career. It is truly astonishing the levels of improvement that we have seen with Pascal Siakam. That nobody, the Raptors in their wildest dreams when they selected him 27th overall in 2016, in their wildest dreams, they could have never perceived a career arc like this. And we want to go even further in his NBA career. A guy who picked up a basketball at 16 years old in Cameroon to get to this point. It truly is a remarkable feat. So I wanted to discuss what are some of the other greatest success stories here. I got the idea for this from Ease on Twitter, just Ease. And the offensive career they became, it is a seismic leap, but who are some of the other big ones that we can mention here? Certainly, like one of the other big ones in the NBA is Giannis. It's Giannis. As much as people were high on him He got drafted, was it 15th overall? Who could have foreseen that this guy comes out and perennial all-star, perennial MVP candidate, finals MVP? This stemming from, first few years in the league, inefficient. Not a lot of ways he can score. Weaker as well. Like, he was playing as a point guard in his third season in the league. And then perennial all-star, MVP candidate. And we're numb to his greatness, right? This guy averaged 31 and 12 last season. 31 and 12. And nobody really cared because it's just standard stuff for Giannis. Next one you can talk about, Nikola Jokic. These are all recent, but man, Nikola Jokic. In the league as a second-round pick. Back up to Jusuf Nurkic. Jusuf Nurkic got hurt. Well, hang on. Jokic starts. Hang on. Jokic is better than Nurkic. Nurkic gets traded, and for good reason. Jokic rises up and becomes one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. An absolute machine at producing wins. Finals MVP now to show for it, but just an unbelievable talent. All of this while not giving a shit about his personal stats. It truly is a remarkable feat of development here. So, I respect Chris Paul. He's shouting out a Canadian boy, shouting out Shai Gilgious Alexander in the midst of an unbelievable FIBA World Cup run. But Shai, there were signs earlier on. We knew he was good. We knew this guy had the potential to be special out of the gate. If you didn't, you weren't paying attention. But his first season with the Clippers, a good Clippers team a decent Clippers team where wasn't getting the biggest role. We saw in year two him average 19 points. That's where he played with Chris Paul. In year two, averaged 19 points. And after year three, I feel like, I don't want to sit on my high horse here or anything, but I feel like after year two, I was trying to tell people, he's a potential, got a lot of potential here to be a star. I'm like, potential, my ass. We're already here. This is already a superstar in the league. He still was astonishing to get to 31 points per game. I didn't think we had that, but two summers ago, you can go to content and see me saying that this is already a superstar. You're saying a future superstar. He's already there. He just needs to be healthy and needs to have some semblance of a team. Maybe even if he doesn't have semblance of a team like he did this year, barely a semblance of a team, he can produce all NBA first team levels. So I respect the rise of the Canadian Shai Gilgious Alexander. But to stack that up to, in quote here, the most impressive development he's ever seen, it's really, really hard to argue against Pascal Siakam. It's really, really hard to argue against Giannis. Giannis started higher than Siakam, but he also climbed higher. Siakam started here, Giannis started here, and Giannis got up here, and Siakam got up here. So, they're both remarkable. Same with Jokic, but even still, for Siakam, who started basketball at 16, came to NBA at 22, energy rim running guy, to get here. It's crazy. Pascal Siakam is the greatest development success story I think the NBA has ever seen. And if you have somebody who's done more than he has done, who has improved more than he has to get to this level, then please, you let me know, because I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to do.